What's up, guys? Got a little bit of information from 704 today. Gameplay footage, not a lot, but like about a minute. Um, I was gonna play it and talk and stuff, but this is already low budget, low quality video content. I don't want to make it worse. Go check out the video. I'm gonna put a link in the description. Go watch it first and then come back, and this way when I'm talking you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so assuming you went, checked it out, and so I'm just gonna get into it, right? There's not a lot going on to where I can dissect 1,000 things, but right off the bat, people are gonna their first reaction is gonna be, how does it look in actual gameplay footage? Looks a lot like last year's game, and if you've been following me, you should know by now, do not expect a big difference in visuals. Graphically, it's going to be a lot like last year. Maybe in subtle areas, you'll see an improvement. Now, one thing I do find to be a lot noticeably better is the sky, the clouds, that kind of stuff. That has stood out to me. The rest of everything else, of the environment, looks a lot like last year. So I'm happy with it. Honestly, I've never been that disappointed with the graphics. Graphics to me are not their biggest issues. I think they've pretty much they've done a commendable job with it. Is it on par with top of the line racing games that are out there like Project Cars or Forza or something, those type of games? No, the visuals are not at that level, but this is nothing to be embarrassed about. The game looks adequate. My biggest problems with the visuals have always been the little things like the jagged edges, the aliasing, that kind of stuff, or little popping and stuff. That stuff it seems like it's still there, unfortunately, and it's more or less of an annoyance, right? But overall, the game looks pretty good to me. That's just me. Uh, so the sky, yeah, okay, that looks noticeably different. Everything else the same. Moving on from that, this is a practice session at Watkins Glen, and there is the driving line to help newbies and stuff like that, guys who are not really hardcore racers. And I don't have a problem. It's in practice as far as I know, and I'm sure you can toggle it off. So there's the driving aid line. And the big thing about this video, I would say the highlight of the video is the sound. Um, the engine sound is noticeably better. Now, there's a few things to take from it. So before, I'm not gonna put it like, oh my God, it's mind blowing. A mind blowing difference. It's not, but it is substantially better sounding. Now, the thing to take away is, like I said, it's a practice session, and there was only one car in this entire gameplay video other than the guy driving, and he makes one pass. So you don't know how it's going to sound with a bunch of cars in an actual race around you. It's obviously the sound's going to be different, but so far the engine sound does sound improved. I am happy with the direction it's going, but just like everything else, it's not like a huge leap, but it is a noticeable improvement. So just keep pushing in that direction. That stuff I'm happy with. There's still room for improvement, but it's I'm happy. So the engine sound is improved. The one thing I don't like, I wish they could tone down the tire squealing. Um, it's a bit distracting, and I'm not sure how. I don't know. Like when you watch a NASCAR race, how often do you hear tires squealing? Um, I don't recall too many times. Unless you really miss your mark. I don't know. It's just this tire squeals gotta they gotta tone that down. But the engine sounds are good. So The other part of the sound that you know, you only heard the spotter one time after he passed the car. Now, obviously, it there was no other cars on the track, so maybe that's why the spotter was so quiet. But once he passed the car, the spotter does sound a little different. It does sound improved, and I forgot exactly what he said, but it wasn't anything that I heard last year. Um, Again, if you guys heard this exact phrase or wording from the spotter, just let me know because I don't remember, but it does sound like they did work on that. Um, Another thing, and this is something that's also exciting to me, is attention to detail. There was a point where uh, when he gets to the bus stop or chicane and he cuts the curb, actually a chunk of dirt flew up in front of the nose of the car. That's not something I remember ever seeing. Uh, so that's pretty cool. And those are the things I'm talking about that are missing is the attention to detail. It's not a huge deal, but when you add up all these little details, it does elevate the experience. And that they do need to keep uh, focusing on that. So I noticed that. I thought that was cool. Um, and one last thing is the when he made the pass on the car, he did give you a quick look behind the car. So yes, you can look behind you. I suppose you can map that on your controller or the wheel, and or there's a button you hit and you can look, you can see behind you. So that's something people have complained about, and you got it now. So that's another plus. Obviously, there's no track map. I told you guys that I don't. There's not going to be a track map. We would have known by now, and they certainly would have shown it here, I think. Um, so, you're gonna have to keep pushing for that, and hopefully we get it next year. Um, so that's pretty much covers. It's just over a minute long video. Uh, I like what I saw. Overall, I walked away from that like, okay, that was cool. I want to see more, and that's what you want. So I liked it. I liked what I saw. I'm excited. And the sound it is noticeably better. It's not where it needs to be eventually, but it's much better, and that's a positive, and that's what I want to see. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. And for those of you who do communicate with 704, Sean Wilson, Ed Martin on Twitter, whatever, uh, do me a favor. Ask these guys about the stats. Um, you guys know how I've been fighting about that issue for years, and uh, I don't think they're just going to volunteer any information on that. Um, I really need to know, did you guys finally address the problem with this lack of attention to statistics? Uh, we can't keep having that. So I would like to know from them directly, did you finally, fix that issue? Because that's a big problem to me. Um, so if you guys can do that for me, I would appreciate it. So that's all I really have to say about this. I'm looking forward to the next batch of information. I wish they wouldn't do things like this and just drop, you know, uh, little bits of information here and there, but that's how they've chosen to do their marketing this year, I suppose. Um, I don't want to complain about that, but I like what I saw. So, what do you guys think about the gameplay footage, and what do you think about my opinions on it? Let me know. I look forward to your comments. Later.